Hi everyone, it's Debbie with Book and Bujo. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going over all of the purple squares for HRCYED 2.0. Here we go. What is HRCYED, you ask, and what are these purple squares? The HRCYED 2.0 was created by Q from QWERTY, and it is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, 2.0, because it's the second one. The first one ended today, and the next one starts tomorrow. If you don't want to have to remember odd dates and you want to start on July 1st and go through June 30th, you can do that. Technically, it starts July 7th, 2025 and goes through July 6th, 2026. But you can start July 1st, 2025, but you will then need to complete it by June 30th, 2026. So you get 1 year to do it. And I will leave all of the information in the description box below, including Q's announcement video and the website that she has created with all of the information and resources that you need for that, including journal pages and some other things like that. Let me make myself a little bit smaller and we will get started on the spreadsheet because this is so cool. Such an amazing spreadsheet. Okay, purple squares. The purple ones are, it depends, squares. How many books you read for each of these particular squares in purple will depend on what the challenge you set yourself are, or the one that you choose for this. There's only two that are absolute, so the subgenres of choice, you do read 6 books, but you get to choose what those are, and then the award season is 7 books that you need to read, but you get to choose what those are. For the spreadsheet, if you click on one of these little squares, this little thing pops up and I'll take you directly to the tab for that particular square, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and start with subgenres of choice. So here you can choose what your main genre is going to be. So fantasy, sci-fi, horror, mystery, thriller, romance, etc. I'm going to be nice to myself and choose fantasy. I thought about choosing sci-fi, but I'm going to go with fantasy, just to make it easy. And then you choose from a whole list of subgenres, and then you read 6 of those different ones. So like if you're doing a nonfiction as the main genre, you can read an autobiography, you can read a biography, a memoir, you can read a self-help book, a psychology or philosophy book, something like that. But for fantasy, I have chosen these particular 6. There's a bunch of others you can do. You can do high epic fantasy, you can do epic fantasy, you can do, a whole bunch of ones, but I'm going to choose adventure. I just tend to read a lot of those. Cozy, dystopian, paranormal, space opera, and steampunk/gas lamp. Those are the ones that I'm excited for. And then down here, there are potentials. So books that may fit those categories. So you just kind of fill those in and then you read from those. For adventure, I have Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams. And I am actually currently reading this. Definitely has adventure in it. I also was looking at Tucked Away, which is a NetGalley book I was looking at. For cozy, we have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and The House Witch, the second book in the series, because I want to get to The Burning Witch, but I need to finish the House Witch series first. For dystopian, we have Cress. You can read Hunger Games, Red Rising. There's like a ton of dystopians out there. The Memory Police is a good one. I just finished that one. That was a good one. For paranormal, I do want to keep going with the Gateway Tracker series because I love that. Space opera. There's actually a book by Kathleen Valenti, which is called Space Opera. But I was also thinking Lightbringer by Pierce Brown could work. And then the last category I had was steampunk/gas lamp, which I do like a good gaslighting in my books. So I was thinking Sword Heart, Senlin Ascends, because I want to read that for our fantasy bingo anyway. Promise of Blood, The Goblin Emperor, Foundry Side, Invisible Library, Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, Monstrous. There's a bunch of them in that one, and they're all ones that I'm interested in. So those are my plans for subgenres of choice. Back to the bingo board. We have award season, and this is where I need your help. Yeah. She does have a list of upcoming awards, so another little list of upcoming awards. She has a list from Instagram Spark with all the current competitions and book options for you here. Booker Prize, the Goodreads Choice Awards, Nebula, Hugo's Best Indie Book Award, SPFBO, so Self-Published Fantasy Blog Off. You can use some of those. So you pick any award and read books from each level of that competition. It must be a total of 7 books and at least 1 from each stage of the competition. So 1 entrant, nominee, bottom of the barrel, like here's the 5 million books, and then we'll narrow it from there. 2 from the semifinalist, 2 finalists, and then winner. So you can either do the number 1 winner, maybe there's 2 winners. There you go, and you put your competition name here. And then once you're done, you check this box off. So that's the one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Thinking maybe SPFBO, but it's going to be a little harder for me to find some of those. Like my library's probably not going to have some of those books, so that might be a little harder to find some of those. But I did find this Libby Book Award. So libbylife.com/blog. This one was it was in February, but it says the winners of the 2025 Libby Book Awards. So I thought maybe I'd look into that because that might be kind of interesting. Back to the Bingo Award. If you have any options for me for that one, I would love to hear about them. So TBR challenge. This one, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to choose for this one, but the TBR game challenge, you basically pick someone's TBR game and you play that, and there you go. You do all the prompts for it and read those books. But you cannot use your own, and you can't use one you've played before. So you have to do a different one and broaden your horizons. If anyone would like to play TBRopoly, which is my TBR game, feel free. I have some. You can do backlist ones. It doesn't have to be that particular month, so you can do whichever ones you want. I do have some that are super mean, where I get 13, 15 books with a bunch of doubles, but there's also some where I have maybe only 5 books, sometimes 7. So if you want to play mine, I will leave the playlist for my TBRopoly down below for you as well. All right, TBR game challenge. There is a list of a whole bunch of TBR games in here, and I can tell you that I have played some of them, and they are super fun. So Melanie from Completely Melanie has a spin the wheel type of TBR game, but you can also go to Cody's Book Corner and do her backlist videos. Some other ones I really like, Deck of TBR is really fun. You have the M&M ones where you pick the color of the M&M for the down and the across, and wherever it meets, that's the one you choose. TBR Bluff with Eleanor Reads is really good. Covers with Cassidy has her Snakes and Ladders TBR. We have the M&M TBR. That's a current chapter. That one's great. Book Quest TBR with the Reading and Writing Life is amazing. We also have a Shrink the Shelf with All Rad Reads. That one's super fun. She actually had a Kickstarter and created an actual physical board game of it, which is really fun. I have not played that one yet, so I'm thinking about that one. But there's also, or Snakes and TBR Stacks covers with Cassidy. And there's a couple of other ones. A Game of Bookish Life by A-Star Reads is also really fun. TBR Bakery with Sarah Hart's Books, also really fun one. TBR Cluedo, Meg with Books, as well as Pages with Paige, both do that one. And of course, Bookopoly with Becca and the Books. Those ones are always great. Game of Tomes, Mythic Pages, also good. But then I was going through my subscription feed on YouTube and watching some of the TBR games that are on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love this one. And it's so much fun to watch her. The game's been super mean to her lately. But I decided to go with The Creepy Geek. So if you have not seen her channel, I will link that down below for you. But hers is Escape Camp Horroracle. So she does a lot of horror books, but she uses oracle cards to choose her TBR. And I was watching the July game, and I was like, oh, I should do this one. So let's see what she gets for this month, and I'll see if I'll play this one or maybe go backlist or watch one of her future ones. And her first one was Water. And the oracle card is this one here, and it says water at the bottom, and then of course there's water on the cover. And so I decided to choose a Stone of Farewell because we have a bunch of water on this side. There's a little bit of water over here as well. And I'm like, that's going to be perfect because I have to read it anyway. So there we go. So then we went on the second roll, and she got Love. So we got Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein here, and it says Love on it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to do it. Wild Love. Elsie Silver. I said I didn't want to have to read this one, but I'm still going to read it last. I'm going to save it for the very end. But Wild Love by Elsie Silver, and it's the first book of the Rose Hills series. And of course it has love in the name, and it even kind of has a little bit of these colors on it, this kind of red and white. So that's what I'm planning. But I could also use Battle Royale, which is a graphic novel and it's a romance one. So that I could use that one as well. The other one for water I was thinking of is I Cheerfully Refuse. That's an option. We'll see. And then we have the combination. So roll number 3, and crazily enough, she only got 3 rolls. That never happens, like ever. She always gets a ton of rolls with a bunch of prompts. So the game was like super nice to her, and I had already, before I even knew that, I had already decided to play this one. So it was very fun. So her last card was this combination, and for her, she actually chose the facial expressions on here to choose her book. Well, I'm going to go with the fact that there's 3 faces on here, and they each kind of take up a different section of the cover. And I'm going to go with Orishas Among Mortals by Antoine Bandelli. And that has the 3 faces in different sections on the book. So that one's going to be done by the end of the month. I've already read Orishas Among Mortals. I'm 70% of the way through Stone of Farewell, so all I will need to read is either Wild Love or Battle Royale. And I will most likely read Battle Royale first. And then you would put what game you played here. So we can put Escape Camp Horroracle. Oops. And that is with the Creepy Geek. And then you will put the prompt here. So we had water and love, and then the combination. And I made sure and took screenshots of each of the cards so I would remember what they were. And then the title. So we have the Stone of Farewell. We have Wild Love or Battle Royale. And then Orishas Among Mortals. And that one I have completed. Now I may choose to do this one again. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Because it's a lot of fun. But again, you cannot choose your own TBR game. You have to play someone else's that you have not played before. Back to the bingo board. And now we have the Make a Quote Challenge. This one is super fun. When I was originally thinking of it, I was just like, oh, that's going to be a tough one, because you need to pick your favorite quote or a quote of any kind. Use books to write it out word for word. Can use any word in the title or author's name. And you can use one book for 2 prompts, but it counts as your double up. So you can double up on books. So if I have, like I'm reading Stone of Farewell, I can use that for 2 different prompts in the HRCYED Readathon, which is nice. So I was thinking like, oh, Not All That Wander Are Lost is a good one. Don't Worry, Be Happy is kind of fun. We got some Lucy Maud Montgomery's My Life is a Perfect Graveyard of Buried Hopes. But then Q was talking about some of the quotes she was thinking about. So she has an envelope that has a whole bunch of quotes in it, and she's going to randomly pull one out and do that. She had a couple of Twister quotes. So like, I gotta go, we got cows. And I was like, oh, Twister, that's a great movie. That's some great quotes in there. And I was like, wait, movie quotes. You kidding me? We have, of course, As You Wish, The Princess Bride. We have Monty Python's Bring Out Your Dead, or She Turned Me Into a Newt. Well, I got better. But I was not going to try and find a quote with the word newt in it. If you want to, feel free, and please let me know if you find one. And of course, we have Goonies. It's our time down here. And Willow, I stole the baby. Some great ones. But one of my favorite movies is Cutting Edge with Moira Kelly and D.B. Sweeney. Love it. And of course, one of the best quotes in the movie is, "Toe pick." My husband say that, and I say that all the time. We'll be watching some other movie and something happens. We're like, toe pick. So that is absolutely the quote I'm going for. I'm not choosing it because it's only 2 words, because although that's a nice bonus, but I love that quote and I do actually use it quite often. The other thing is the word you have has to be the word that's on the book. So if I have pick, it has to be pick. It can't be picked or picks or picking. It has to be pick. So I found 2 for the word toe. Real Mermaids Don't Wear Toe Rings by Helen Boudreau, and Toe Black by Paul Logothetis. Don't really know anything about either of those, but they sounded interesting. And then I found one with a pick, and that's The Pickup by Hannah Doyle. I think that I found a couple, but that's the one that sounded kind of interesting. I wanted to make sure I could get it from my library. So that's my make a quote, and then you would put your word up here, toe pick. So I don't need any of these extra ones here. And again, that's toe pick. That was said by Kate to Douglas. That was played by Moira Kelly, and it's The Cutting Edge. Back to the bingo board. And now we're moving to complete Any Readathon. So the Readathon challenge. Okay, so she does have a note here that says some of these readathons are not still going, but the prompts are still valid to use. So you tried to get the most up-to-date link, but some couldn't find announcements for in 2025 yet. So if you have a past readathon that you want to do, you can do that as well, which is pretty cool. You've got the 52 book clubs, always a fun one too. Stealing prompts from another readathon, you can do that. I must complete all the prompts from the readathon, but not necessarily in that month. So if the readathon is from June 1st to June 30th, as long as you start at June 1st, you can take up until the end of HRCYED to finish the book. So if you have one that started September 1st, you can go all the way through June 30th or July 6th, whenever it is you actually start and then stop HRCYED readathon. So as long as you get the one book read during the month of the readathon, then you're good. And then you can take the rest of the year to finish the rest of them. There's some great readathons on here too. Aurelium, Book Roast, so amazing. I'm probably going to end up doing that one. And you will need to do a book for every prompt that's in the readathon. So the entire syllabus, you'll have to read each of the different prompts. But again, not necessarily during that month. The other ones I was thinking of is the Reading Rush. Might be kind of an interesting one. You got Spookopolython and Bookopolython by Back in the Books. Reindeer Readathon with Break Even Books. That one's great. I love that one. I do that one every year. We have May the 4th, also with Break Even Books. That one's great. We have Gooberathon with Jess from Joshua Curran. That one, and she has a year-long one, but she also has a monthly one that's in May every year. We have Adventureathon by K. Beth Bookish. That one's a good one. I've done that one. Fablin with the Word Nerd is really fun. And Stuffathon, the Backlist Readathon, Gothtober, Our Fantasy Bingo, and I went, ooh, Our Fantasy Bingo. I'm doing that one anyway. 25 prompts. I always do all of them. So I think I'm either going to do Our Fantasy Bingo or Aurelium, one of the two. TBR Harvest is fun. Yeah, there's some great readathons out there. So we'll come back to this one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to either just do Our Fantasy Bingo, which is 25 prompts, or Aurelium, which is, let's see. I have one of her syllabuses in here. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 prompts. So you would need to read 14 books for this particular one, which actually would be a little easier than the 25 from Our Fantasy Bingo. So let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, 14. So that's not too bad. So you could do Aurelium. All right, back to the bingo board. And then we move into your favorite HRCYED 1 prompt. So this is the one that just ended July 6th, 2025, and it started July 7th of 2024. And there's a whole lot of really cool prompts. So she has all of them listed here. So you pick one prompt and do that prompt. Read a completed web comic, 5 books from 5 author tubes, complete the queer rainbow, 5 books from 5 small booktubers. There's a lot of good ones in here. I was thinking, read a classic and an adaptation. That would be a good one. You could read The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, and then What Moves the Dead by T. King Fisher, which is a kind of retelling adaptation of it. I was also thinking reading an entire series with 4+ books. I have quite a few of those going on. But the one I was thinking of doing was a book you backed on Kickstarter / Indiegogo, etc. And I do have a couple that I haven't read yet. I have Dead Stars Part 1 as well as Mother of Learning Arcs 2, 3, and 4. So I guess there's 4 books total that I have that I could do for that one. And then July came and I started a book. I have the physical book from the library as well as the audiobook from Libby, and I was just reading, going on about my day, kind of immersive reading as well as just listening as I was cleaning and some other things. And I read Cress by Marissa Meyer, which is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles, and it is 562 pages, and I read the entire thing in one day. I wasn't planning on it, but it's so easy to listen to. It's so easy to read. It's just the readability of it is so easy and nice, and it just, yeah, it's a page turner, and I finished the entire thing in one day. So I am absolutely using that book for this prompt. So let's go ahead and add that in. So let's add my image and insert it into the cell itself. So let me see, Cress by Marissa Meyer. And there we go. And I did that. It's done. I will most likely still read Dead Stars Part 2 and most likely Mother of Learning Arc 2 at least. I don't know if I will get to the others, but I do need to put 3 and 4 in here because I do have those. So those are options. Back to the bingo board. Now notice I did say I did it. So there's that. And when you click that box and come back to the bingo board, it turns green. 1 down, and it's only July 6th. Now, technically, I'm starting July 1st, and I will go July 1st through June 30th. I think I actually read Cress on July 2nd, so I could do July 2nd to July 1st, but that's a little too confusing. So I think I'm going to go July 1st to June 30th. Okay, next prompt. Challenge yourself. Now this one I do have on here, like this, the numbers that are on here, that's how many books we need to read in that section to complete that square. And the purple ones, again, these 2 you have to read 6 and 7, but the other ones depend on like the quote you choose, which prompt you choose, which readathon you choose, which TBR game you choose, that kind of thing. So challenge yourself. We have basically whatever your 2025 goals are, pick one of those and use it for this challenge. Now, if you do have one that matches one of the other prompts, you need to extend it. So like if nonfiction books, you have to read nonfiction books for one of the white squares in here. Say you have to read 5, well then you can make it, well, I need to read 10 or 12. So that way it makes it over and above the other prompt if you want to do that. So a couple of the ones I was thinking of, read 5 of my Broken Binding subscription box books, read 12 nonfiction in the year, read 12 classics. I usually have those as goals, 60 before 60, which is still a ways off, but you know. And then I was like, no, I know what I need to do, because I had Dead Stars Part 1 on that last prompt that I was thinking of, but I need to read every Bengali book that I own. I own 9 of them. I have 1 more that's on its way at some point. I think he just finished writing it. So it needs to go through the final like edits and beta readers and like that kind of thing. But I think he's finished the actual writing of the book. So then he just has some edits and stuff and then to get it out to everybody. So that one is still waiting. So right now I have 9. And then I'm also thinking of just adding on to that because of the HRCYED 1 challenge that I was going to do that I'm not doing now. I'm going to read my oldest subscription box book that I have, which is actually from Page and Wick, and that was the first subscription book box I ever did. And I think it was the 3rd book that I got. I've already read the other 2, so it's just this one left, and I no longer have that subscription, but that book was Sky of Fire by Madeline Carr, so I do still need to read that. But the Bengali books I think it's the 3rd book in the series. So you have The Written, Pale Kings, and then Dead Stars Part 1, Dead Stars Part 2. So I'm waiting on Dead Stars Part 2. I do have Dead Stars Part 1. I also need to read Blood for the Forest and The Forever King and Heavy Lies the Crown and To Kill a God. and Blood Rush. So those ones are part of the Emaneska and Skuluson Chronicles worlds. And then written with author David Estes, which is one of my favorite authors, and that's Demon's Reign and Demon's Rage. And then there's also a Lost Lore, which is an anthology of short stories that Bengali has contributed to, which is another Emaneska world story, I believe. So those are what I plan on doing for Challenge Yourself. Now, if Dead Stars Part 2 does come in before the end of HRCYED 2.0, then I will include that as well. Then back to the bingo board. Those are all of the purple squares that are on the board, and one less now. There's 7 total, so I have 6 more to go. I just happened to luck out with that one. Which is very exciting, very fun. And completely impromptu. I had no idea I was going to do that. Towards the end, I was like, you know what? How long is this book? Because, I kind of got my brain going. I think I had an hour left, so I kind of stayed up just a little bit so I could finish it. But yeah, I was very excited that I finished that one. And then that's all we got for the purple one. So I will have a video coming up soon in the next couple of weeks where I go over all of the white squares and what I'll be reading for that. There's 18 of those squares. So we will go over those next time. And those ones are more fixed. Like you read 7 books, you read 3 books, you read these 10 books, you read 9. And so there's less ambiguity to those ones, and they're a little more fixed and rigid for those. To a point, you still get to pick all the books you're going to read, but there's the amounts are more specific for those. And then I also will be showing you my planner. I will have most of the planner done, but I will walk you through kind of step by step what I did and how I set it up, and also will include all of these challenges in there as well. So I have the analog for that side of my brain, and then the digital for the other part of my brain that can handle the two. So thank you so much for joining me today, and if you made it this far in the video, leave some sort of purple emoji in the comments to let me know that you are here. And please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other bookish or planning content. And until next time, keep planning and keep reading. Bye!